Hi everyone, this is Jim. Welcome to this Blitz chess postmortem. This is a postmortem of my Blitz chess game number 183. I was black here and my opponent played e4. So I chose the Sicilian defense, e4 or c5, and my opponent played the immediate f4, the Grand Prix attack. Now the more normal way these days to introduce the Grand Prix attack is to play the move knight to c3 first, and then play f4. If you want to play the Grand Prix attack, that's the way to do it. And the idea of this knight c3 move is it clamps down on the d5 square and stops me from playing d5. But after the immediate f4, black can play d5, and this pretty much equalizes the game. If you see here, e takes is the best way to play, and with that, black gets a pretty good game. This score here indicates that it's basically about even. So this is an equalizing move. The way my opponent played e5, just pushing on ahead, is sort of natural. If you're playing the Grand Prix attack, you're going for a big space gain on the king side. But this is not particularly good, and now the advantage even swings to black's favor. So the most precise move here is knight c6, followed by knight h6. It looks like, or you could play them in the other order, knight h6. And bishop f5 is another idea. So these are all good squares for your pieces. The interesting thing about knight h6 is that it clamps down on this square here. The g4 square prevents the move g4 and secures the f4 square for black. And knight c6, just a normal developing move. I played the move e6, which is actually not bad either. It still keeps the game even or slightly better for black. So my opponent plays knight f3, and I go knight c6 here. And now we're pretty much out of the book after this. But you see black is maintaining some slight edge. So the main move here is c3 to build up a big center, going with this idea of pawns on the dark squares. It looks like building up a big pawn chain like that, starting with c3, is the plan for white in this position. But my opponent played bishop to b5. And now we're out of the book, so let's just go to the notation tab. I played a6, forcing him to decide right away what to do with the bishop. Let's see. Was there something better? It likes, the engine likes knight h6 or bishop e7 or bishop to d7. Okay, another developing move, basically. Okay. Knight h6 once again clamps down on this g4 square. And it also is eyeing f5, of course. Knight to f5 might be a good square. So, but I kick the bishop, he takes, I take, and now it's about even, so I've given up some of that advantage. But g4 then is a bit ambitious. It says b3 is a move here, or knight c3, and white can play on. So g4, it's just a little too weakening, I guess. It says I should immediately strike back with h5. I wanted to develop my pieces. Bishop b7, you see that's not a bad move. And then he plays d4, building up in the center, but I can just take this, and this is dangerous because it's opening up this diagonal to his king, and this diagonal here is already open. So that's the problem with these moves where you advance your king side, these openings where you advance your king side pawns too quickly, is it does create a lot of space around your king, and then that can be very dangerous. And you'll see it happening in this move. So he played knight takes d4, and I played c5, kicking the knight, and my plan is to just build up behind the pawns. After this move, I wondered if I could have played queen b6 here. Yeah, queen b6 is a move as well. Queen b6, let's just look at this briefly. Queen b6, and then this knight is pinned. It's not yet under attack, but c3, defending it, and then c5, kicking it. Okay, so it might kind of transpose. No, I guess it won't transpose. I played c5 right away, and so he never played the move c3. But it might be similar to the game in some respects. So he ran away to knight b3, and then I played queen b6, yep, setting my queen up on this diagonal. So there's an immediate threat of check here, although knight d4 would block the check and save the knight, so I'm not winning a piece with that. The engine's recommending queen e2, but he played king h1, walking out of that check, but walking into another. So it says I should bust things open with h5, but also d4 is a good move, d4 check. The king just has to move back. And now knight d5. Yeah, just getting my knight into the act. And the knight also covers this square here. So after a4, I play the move c4. Okay, not on the list of moves here. It says knight e3 is a good move. Yeah, why not? It's a protected square, and well, he would have to trade. Let's take a look at this. Knight e3, forking those two pieces. So bishop takes is pretty much forced, and then pawn takes. And then it says knight a5, just trying to develop. How about knight c3? Trying to stop the pawn from coming to here. Then it says rook d8 is strong. Look at these scores. I mean, it's basically slaughter time, although it's funny because the score, I mean, the material count is even, right? There's a queen, 2 rooks, and 2 minor pieces for each side. But black's king is exposed, and white's king is exposed, and black's pieces are all active. So it says white should play queen e2, and I should play queen c6, getting on this diagonal. Yeah, just these open diagonals towards your king, very dangerous. Okay, I played c4 right away. Not the most accurate move, but it's still winning. And then he should play knight takes d4. So after knight takes d4, I was imagining I would play bishop to c5, and c3 is forced. He can't defend it with the bishop there, so he needs to defend it somehow. And then I was thinking there should be something good here. The engine is recommending knight to b4. That's an interesting tactical move. If he takes my knight, I take his knight with check. And his pawns are kind of messed up. It says a5 to disrupt my queen. Queen to d8, keeping the pressure on the pawn. King f2, trying to get away from these threats along the diagonal. I guess I have an immediate threat of queen to d5 there. Queen to h4 check coming in on this side. Okay, so anyway, this is just a good position for black. White has made too many weakening moves, and it's all coming to... Anyway, instead of taking with the knight, he took with the queen, which it took me a while to figure this out. If I just take with the queen, then he can take back, and that saves his knight. So that's all about even. And if I play bishop c5, which is what I wanted to, he can just take the bishop with his knight or with the queen. But then I realized, my queen is defended here, so I can just take his knight. And now he has to take my queen because his queen was not defended and it was pinned. So the queen exchange is going to happen one way or another. I take, and now I'm just a piece up. He played on a few more moves. He takes b3, bishop check. The king has no moves here, and rook f2. So I was thinking, yeah, I would probably play rook d8 is the most likely move, although it says h5, opening up files towards the king. But the idea with rook d8 is to come down here, and that would be checkmate on the back rank. So castling queenside is a cute trick. Gets the rook on the d file, and knight c3 to guard against the mate, and rook to d3, and probably king f1, and then bishop takes f2. So I'm going to eventually win the exchange here, and my pieces are all invading. So this is looking great for black. So anyway, easily win from that point. So after rook f2, my opponent didn't even wait for me to move. He resigned here, and that's how the game ended. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have any comments, leave them in the section below, and I'll see you again later. Bye.